Today, we'll be taking a look at the heating element on this Whirlpool electric dryer. Be sure to visit ApplianceVideo.com, where you will find thousands of repair videos on the latest technology. And for a limited time, you can save big on an annual membership and take advantage of all of our premium benefits. ApplianceVideo.com. Do it right the first time. Stop. Before beginning any repair, always be sure to disconnect the power to the appliance. It is also recommended to test the outlet for the proper voltage. You will need the following tools to complete this repair. To begin, I must first remove this panel that has multiple 1/4-inch screws going around the perimeter. And before we remove the last one, I'm going to set my arm here. Make sure it doesn't fall. Drop it back and remove the back panel and set it to the side. Now that we have that removed, in order to remove the top, there are 2 small screws, both 1/4 inches, that'll have to be taken off. To the other one on the other side. Twist that screw out and set it to the side. Next, we've returned to the front. There's a couple of screws on the bottom panel that have to be removed. 4 to be exact, and each one is a 1/4 inch. Remove these screws and set them to the side. Next, we'll move our way up, open the door, and there are 2 Phillips screws that'll need to be taken out. Pull these out, and now we can start to lift the top. When lifting the top, it's actually pretty easy. What you do is slide the top forward. It will disconnect it from the sides, lift up, and then you'll sit it on the back and find a way to support it. Next, with the top lifted, first we are going to undo the door switch wiring harness, and then we have 2 T20 screws, 1 on each side, that have to be taken out. Put your knee on the front when you remove the second one. Lift up on the front, pull it off, and set it to the side. Next, we'll need to remove the bulkhead. And in order to remove the bulkhead, there are multiple 1/4 inch screws that'll need to be taken off. We'll set the screws to the side, then disconnect your moisture sensor harness by pinching and separating. And then, to remove the bulkhead, you'll have to lift up, pull out, do the same on the other side, lift up, pull out, lift up on the drum, pull out on the bulkhead, and set it to the side. Now with the bulkhead removed, we need to remove the drum next. In order to do so, we will go underneath the drum. You will find the idler as well as the motor. Lift up on the idler, release the tension from the motor, let your idler down, and then we are going to pull up on the belt. Use the belt to hold the drum, slide it out of the cabinet, and set it to the side. Now that we have the drum removed, we have clear access to the heating element. Now the main reasons why you'd be replacing your heating element would be if the unit is not heating at all, or it may be heating continuously. Now in order to test your heating element, you'll use something to separate the wires from the actual element. Pull them off, and then there's 2 tests that you can do at this point. You can test the heating element for continuity by going between these 2 prongs, and you want to see anywhere from 10 to 50 ohms. If the circuit is open, the element is bad and will need to be replaced. The second thing you can check is to see if the element is shorted. And in order to do this, you'll test for continuity between either one of these prongs and the casing. If you have continuity, that means that the element is internally broken, touching metal and causing it to heat continuously and will need to be replaced. Now, to start replacement on it, first we have 1/4 inch screw on the side that'll have to be taken out. Then we have 2 screws underneath that'll have to be removed. So let's start with the one on the underside. Go ahead and remove that. Let's do the one on the bottom. Take this one out. Next, to remove your heater, you'll want to grab onto the heater box, grab this portion of the heater, slide out, and set it to the side. When installing your new heating element, of course, you want to hold on to the box, meet it in, and then slide it in the same direction that you pulled it out. And we want our terminals to be on this side. Since we are here, let's go ahead and reinstall the terminals. If you need to move your box to straighten it out, you can. And now, let's reinstall our bracket by sliding in the bottom fin first, and then dragging it in on the frame to this slotted spot. Let's slide in the first screw by hand to get it started, and tighten it up. Slide the other one in the bottom. Once again, do it by hand, and then tighten it up. Then finally, we have the screw that holds in the element. Reinstall that on the side, and now we can reinstall the drum. When reinstalling your drum, make sure your belt is located approximately in the middle. You should see belt marks on the drum, and use it to guide the drum in the cabinet. Once you get it to the end, give it a twist so it can sit on the rollers. Move the belt where it needs to be. Make sure it's past all the wiring and everything else. And then let's go underneath. We will put the flat spot around the idler, lift up on the idler, keep pulling the belt back, and put the ribbed side around the motor pulley. Now we can reinstall the bulkhead. When reinstalling your bulkhead, what you have to do is make sure that your metal shield goes over the top of the blower when you're installing it. So we will set the metal shield over, drop it in front of the blower, and try to pick up on the drum just to get it on the top of your bulkhead. We will swing in one arm, lay it up, give the drum a turn to draw it in, and then if this arm hasn't went in, you'll lift up and slide this in. Now all of your screw holes should match up. Next, go around and reinstall all of your 1/4 inch screws. Reinstall our Molex. Now we can reinstall the front panel. When reinstalling your front panel, first we are going to bring it in and set it on the top. Make sure it's in position on both sides, and then we're going to put a screw on the drill and reinstall it to hold it up. Let's switch to the other side. Reinstall this screw, followed by plugging in your door switch. Now we can reinstall the screws below. When reinstalling your screws inside, will open the door. Sometimes it can be a little difficult because they are at an angle, but you may get lucky. If they don't go in straight, make sure you put them in by hand first and then tighten them up. So like this one, I'm gonna put it in by hand, get it threaded, and then tighten it up. That way you do not strip it out. We'll close the door. Next, we'll reinstall the screws on the bottom. Reinstall our last one here. Now we can reinstall the top. When reinstalling your top, we will bring it down. Once you get it all the way down, you want to lift up on the whole top and kind of center it on the frame. And then pull it forward, slide it back so it locks into place on the sides. Now we will return to the back of the unit. Now that we have the top positioned correctly, let's reinstall these screws here, starting with the one on this corner. We'll just twist it in by hand first. Then let's get this one in. If you need to move the top around, go ahead and do so, but we do not want them to strip out when we're putting them in. So get it in by hand. Let's switch over our ratchet, tighten them up. Now we can reinstall the back panel. When reinstalling the back panel, first we'll slide our tech manual back under here. Then we'll bring the back panel up, install the middle screw to hold it in. And now we're going to go around the perimeter and reinstall the others. Get our last screw in here, and this will complete your repair. Thank you for watching another quality video from ApplianceVideo.com. If you found this video helpful, make sure you click the like and subscribe to our channel.